From telling the founder of Dirty Cookie her business was a hobby, to using colorful language for the founder of Pavlok, these are some of the most brutal Shark Tank rejections from Mr. Wonderful himself. Starting with the time he called Shahira Mary's business a hobby. There's nothing more heartbreaking than putting your heart and soul into a company and then having someone call it a hobby. You could dismiss the thought coming from just about anyone else, but when Kevin O'Leary's the one telling you to quit while you're ahead, I think you owe it to him to at least think about it. Okay, so Dirty Cookie is Mary's brainchild, and it's a pretty straightforward business actually. You take a cookie-shaped shot glass, fill it up with anything from a drink to a scoop of ice cream, and when you're done with one treat, you can munch at the cookie shot glass for another. Mary's pitch started off right. She had some experience in the business before, a few partners, and was even looking toward expanding. So, what's the problem? Money, isn't it always? Kevin spotted a major flaw in Mary's business: her actual business model. As it turned out, Dirty Cookie was actually in a whole lot of debt. Their sales had skyrocketed during COVID, but with things returning to normal, Mary found it hard to keep up. Plus, she was making all of her cookie shot glasses by hand. And the only available machine to make her business cost-effective cost a ton of money. Yeah, O'Leary didn't have to hear much after she started fumbling with her numbers. Hey, at least he didn't hate her idea. Like, he absolutely hated the idea of a motorcycle racing movie. The question of the hour is, what does Mr. Wonderful have against motorcycle racing? Nothing. O'Leary has nothing against it, but he does have something against what James LaVitola was trying to sell him, which was a share of profits from his movie on, you guessed it, motorcycle racing. Now, according to my Shark Tank binging knowledge, I know that it's pretty unconventional for someone to come in and pitch a film. But hey, is it really a bad idea? No. But the Sharks thought LaVitola, being the one to spearhead the project, sure was. Mark Cuban didn't even listen to the complete pitch. The rest of the Sharks, including Mr. Wonderful, humored LaVitola. But after realizing that all he was willing to offer was a dream and a brief trailer, seriously, he hadn't even finished the script, Kevin proceeded to forbid him from proceeding any further. And just in case you were wondering what happened to track days, nothing ever happened. The social media page went dark, and their website is just a blank white screen. I guess they really heeded O'Leary's advice after all. Another time O'Leary forbade someone on Shark Tank from proceeding further was when he told the other sharks not to invest in Skinny Mirror. So, Belinda Johnson was all smiles when she entered the tank. She told the sharks that she realized some mirrors had imperfections in them and would make people look heavier than they actually were. Belinda believed that the mirrors gave people a false sense of what they looked like. So, what did she do to counter this problem? She made a mirror that also gave people a false sense of what they looked like. Wait, what? Yep, the Skinny Mirror is supposed to make you look skinnier than you actually are. And to make things even shadier, Belinda claimed that she made most of her money by selling her mirrors to retailers. Think about it for a second. The retailers were banking on Belinda's mirrors to sell more clothes, by making people believe that the clothes made them appear more toned. How is that not a lawsuit waiting to happen? Kevin saw through it right away. He called Belinda out for lying to her consumers and said that the only way she was trying to evade a hefty lawsuit was by having a tiny little logo at the very bottom of her mirror. He was unimpressed and told the other sharks that he was forbidding them from investing too. Looks like they listened to him, and it looks like Mr. Wonderful was right, because Skinny Mirror went out of business just 7 months after the episode aired. O'Leary was just as unimpressed with Darren Johnson's Ionic Ear. OG Shark Tanks would remember one of the very first pitches from the show: the Ionic Ear. Basically, Johnson was looking to secure over $1 million in funding for an exchange of 15% of his company that sought to surgically insert a cochlear implant into your ear canal. Why? To improve your hearing? Your balance? Nope, the Ionic Ear was made as a replacement for pesky headphones that kept slipping out. So, in essence, Darren wanted the sharks to invest in a product you'd have to surgically insert into your ear, and then charge by having an electric device placed alongside your face? Call the health department and the police while you're at it. Ionic ear was a disaster waiting to happen. This is why it's a good thing Darren's brainchild never left the drawing board. As the king of ruthless comments, O'Leary asked Darren if he'd told anyone else about his product yet. And when the inventor said that he'd told a few people, Mr. Wonderful asked him how someone hadn't had him arrested yet. Now let's talk about the time Kevin O'Leary reneged on his offer. He told the founders of Sweet Kiwi that he was pissed. When husband-wife duo Michael Akindele and Ahime Egbe came into the tank, offering a share of their business of a whipped frozen Greek yogurt, Kevin O'Leary was beaming. He loved it right off the bat and wanted to invest right then and there. However, he later took back his offer. Why? Because it looked like the founders were not interested in him. The duo kept looking at Robert Herjavec while Kevin was talking. Yeah, talk about disrespect. Kevin actually put in a pretty great offer, while the rest of the sharks said they were out. All but Robert. So, when Kevin realized that they wouldn't even look at him until Robert put in his offer, he realized they had no interest in him or his money. It was a no-brainer, really. Mr. Wonderful doesn't do business with people who don't respect him. This reminds me of what happened with Cy-Bands. Despite having a pretty shady business model, Cy-Bands were apparently doing pretty well. The band was an acupuncture bracelet that targeted a point in your wrist to keep you from feeling nauseous. And according to the founder, it actually worked. Romy Taormina told the Sharks that there was actual evidence to support her product, and a market looking to get their hands on the band. She was also in talks with major retailers for statewide distribution. Kevin was initially pretty interested. He even gave Taormina a pretty good offer. But when he realized that the founder didn't really come into the tank looking for money, she just wanted to find a way to market her product on television, he started turning nasty. Now, if you know anything about O'Leary, it's that he doesn't hold back. And he didn't hold back while calling Romy arrogant and a sham. Not only for rejecting his modest offer, but also for being smug about it. The founder of Cy-Bands walked out of the tank without an investment. She wishes she'd taken Kevin up on his offer while he was still in good spirits. Mr. Wonderful is not shy about calling anyone out on their BS. Like when he called out the founders of Minus Cal. What do you understand from the name Minus Cal? I mean, what do you think this product is supposed to do for you? Naturally, you'd assume that the product is supposed to reduce the calories in your food and help you lose weight, right? But that's not what Minus Cal does. Apparently, the product is supposed to be ingested as 2 small pills with CoLive in them. The green tea extract goes into your digestive tract and blocks fat. Are there any studies to support this theory? Not many, and the ones that are there aren't really conclusive. So, when O'Leary asked what they had to go on, besides just a fad, the father-son founding duo was left fumbling. Yeah, they left the Shark Tank without an investment. No surprise there. And finally, the creme de la creme of Kevin O'Leary's outbursts, the time he used colorful language for the founder of Pavlok. Manish Sethi told the Sharks that he had a product that could break anyone's bad habits by having them essentially shock themselves into quitting. Now, everyone questioned the veracity of this product. So, to get yourself to quit something, you'd have to shock yourself? If anyone had that self-control, they'd just quit the habit, right? The Sharks started chuckling, and you could see it right from Sethi's face. He was all set to throw hands. He almost got into it with Mark Cuban, but faced the brunt of it from Mr. Wonderful. In fact, O'Leary actually offered to take most of the company off his hands, considering how Sethi didn't have an active business model, a patent, or anything really. But the guy said no, in so many words though. He actually said he'd work with anyone except Kevin. And yep, this angered the Shark. He started cussing and yelling, screaming at Sethi to leave the tank. And he did just that, empty-handed, with a business that he shut down a short while later. So, from using colorful language for the founder of Pavlok, to telling the founder of Dirty Cookie her business was a hobby, These were some of the most brutal Mr. Wonderful rejections from Shark Tank.